Farts, Brassieres, and Kendrick Lamar. It's episode 36. Oh, what's going on, everybody? I'm John Boyce, the owner, writer, and host for Brainiac Trivia in Middle Tennessee. Over the last week, I asked 160 questions, and these are my favorite top 10 in 10 minutes or less.
Number 10.
Music will kick off episode 36. In 2018, Kendrick Lamar became the first rapper to win what prestigious award? Yeah, back in 2018, Kendrick Lamar became the first rapper ever to win a Pulitzer Prize. Pulitzer Prize for music, to be specific.
Number 9.
Oh, fact or crap, 50-50 shot for this one. Here we go. The modern brassiere was invented by a man. No, that is not correct. That is a load of crap, but it is very believable because everybody knows anything worth anything was invented by a man.
Number 8.
Clues and clips on this one. Remember, two-part question, looking for a movie. First, I'll give you the clue, and then I will play the audio clip. This late 80s film had a tagline that read, "It's as real as the feeling you feel." Now considered a cult classic, it provided numerous one-liners. The soundtrack was created by a founding member of the rock band Dire Straits. I'll read it again. This late 80s film had a tagline that read, "It's as real as the feeling you feel." Now considered a cult classic, it provided numerous one-liners. The soundtrack was created by a founding member of the rock band Dire Straits.
I do not mean to pry, but you don't by any chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand?
Do you always begin conversations this way?
My father was slaughtered by a 6-fingered man.
Yeah, Princess Bride, if you didn't recognize the clip, I honestly don't know what you're doing with your life.
Number 7.
Arts and literature at number 7. I don't really know why, but I found this interesting. There are always blank pages in books because the number of pages must be divisible by what number? There are always blank pages in books because the number of pages must be divisible by what number? So the reason why there's always a couple of blank pages either in the front or the back of the book, when they print a book, they're actually printed on much larger sheets of paper that are then cut into 4 pieces. So it must always be divisible by 4. If there are not enough pages to cover the whole thing, they put the extra pages in there.
Number 6.
We're going to go back to music once again. I'm actually going to give you a hint on this one. I'll say I didn't ever do anything for you. Only one band in rock and roll history has had all 4 members write hits that reach the top of the charts, and it's not the Beatles. Who is it? Only one band in rock and roll history has had all 4 members write hits that reach the top of the charts, and it is not the Beatles. Who is it? Yeah, it wasn't the Beatles, it was actually Queen. All 4 members wrote a song that reached the top of the charts. Queen, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Number 5.
Back to arts and literature about this one. It's a bit morbid, but interesting. Edgar Allan Poe might be most famous for writing the poem The Raven. The raven that inspired him to write the poem is stuffed and in the Free Library of Philadelphia. It was a pet from what other famous writer? Edgar Allan Poe might be most famous for writing the poem The Raven. The raven that inspired him to write it is stuffed and is in the Free Library of Philadelphia. It was a pet from what other famous writer? Edgar Allan Poe is one of my favorite poets. I had no idea about this until a couple of months ago, but the raven that inspired him to write the poem The Raven was actually a pet of Charles Dickens. You can now see that same exact raven stuffed and in the Free Library of Philadelphia.
Number 4.
Geography for this one. Here's something you didn't know you needed to know, and you probably still don't. In 1899, Henry Hale Bliss became the first recorded American to die in a car crash. In what city did this take place? In 1899, Henry Hale Bliss became the first recorded American to die in a car crash. In what city did this take place? So Henry Hale Bliss, the first recorded American to die in a car crash, New York City is where he was when it happened. And he wasn't even in the vehicle. He was actually getting off of a trolley and took a step out and a car smacked him, killed him. You ever watch old videos of what New York City and San Francisco and Chicago and these big cities looked like during that time? It was absolute chaos on the streets. Some things never change.
Number 3.
Into the top 3, and we're going to go to our third music question of the week. I really had some good music questions this past week. The Beach Boys song Never Learn Not to Love was a reworking of a song written for them by what famous criminal? The Beach Boys song Never Learn Not to Love was a reworking of a song written for them by what famous criminal? Definitely not one of the Beach Boys' biggest hits, far from it actually, but Never Learn Not to Love was originally written by Charles Manson. Notice I didn't say murderer. Charles Manson murdered nobody. He just convinced other people to do it. That's a whole other podcast.
Number 2.
Oh, into the top 2 we go, and back to fact or crap. I think this question's awesome. The first U.S. ambassador to Vietnam to enter Vietnam after the Vietnam War was a prisoner of war during the war. Fact or crap? The first U.S. ambassador to Vietnam to enter Vietnam after the Vietnam War was a prisoner of war during the war. Fact or crap?
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
Douglas Pete Peterson was a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War. He served during the Clinton administration. And to me, I didn't even really think about this when I asked the question, but then one of my regulars said, you know, that's a very American thing to do. It's kind of like a big middle finger to Vietnam. Either way, very interesting.
Number 1.
All right, my favorite question of the week from the health and medical category. Not very often health and medical makes it to number 1. And as a matter of fact, this question could possibly be like my number 1 question of the year. From health and medical, 59% of the average human fart consists of what gas? 59% of the average human fart consists of what gas? Almost everybody put methane, and that makes sense. I probably would have put methane. Methane's actually only about 7% of a fart. 59% of the average human fart consists of nitrogen. Here's some more fart information for you. On average, a fart is composed of about 59% nitrogen, 21% hydrogen, 9% carbon dioxide, 7% methane, and 4% oxygen. Less than 1% of their makeup is actually what makes a fart stink. The temperature of a fart at time of creation is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not too surprising. Farts have been clocked at a speed of 10 feet per second. A person produces about half a liter of farts a day, and whether they'll admit it or not, women fart as much as men. There you have it. There's my top 10 favorite questions of the past week. TV Trivia, July 9th in Murfreesboro. That's right around the corner. 7 o'clock is our start time. 4 rounds of sitcom, spinoffs, animation, and drama thriller. Cannot wait to host that one. Halloween movie trivia coming up on October 21st, Disney movie trivia on November 11th, and Christmas movie trivia on December 16th. If you'd like to become a supporter of the podcast, click on the link in the bio. Nothing is expected. Everything is appreciated. Trivia is more fun in person, so we'd love to see you out at one of our in-person games if you have the opportunity. As always, guys, thanks for listening. I'm John Boyce, and this has been the Brainiac Trivia Top 10 in 10.
You fell into a pile of maxi pads and you farted. That's pretty funny.
Mom, it was perfect. Don't you see?
I'm proud of you.
You farted your way into our hearts, Mom.